Hello. So today in this particular session, we are going to discuss about very important topic, that is Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act 1985, as well as regarding NCB. What is a lot about NCB that we are going to discuss. Then we are going to discuss this act, that is 1985 NDPS Act. What is the provisions are there, what is the offences are there, and why actually it is difficult to get bail under this particular act, that we are going to discuss in this entire topic. So, hello and welcome, this is Legacy IAS Academy, I am Pawan Kant. Let us start this particular session. So, first we need to understand why actually this particular act is in the news and where we can utilize in our examinations. So, in our examinations actually we can utilize in paper 3, that is GS paper 3, especially in internal security topic. So, this is actually why we are covering it. So, reason is this, because it was in the news earlier in Punjab elections were happening at that time, Udta Punjab movie came. So, because Punjab is also suffering this particular drug issues, because Punjab is the border state, and then this Sushant Singh Rajput case was there, and because of that it was in the news, and recently it is because some 20 persons they were arrested in one particular cruise. So, because of that all this is in the news. So, first we need to understand what is actually this Narcotics Control Bureau is. Right. See, Narcotics Control Bureau basically it is constituted by the Government of India in 1986 only. So, when it was constituted? Only in Government of India 1986 under this NDPS Act only, that is Narcotic Drugs Psychotropic Substance Act 1985. So, next question is, it will come under which particular ministry? So, definitely it will come under Ministry of Home Affairs. And third important thing is regarding, we can actually interconnect with DPSP also, that is article number 47 of the constitution. Here actually this article number 47, the constitution it actually asks for provisions of the consumptions and this intoxicating drugs, especially except for the medical purposes. So, that is why it is important. And another important thing we need to understand, this drug abuse control, it is a responsibility of actually this is the responsibility of both central government as well as state government, but basically the main responsibility actually lie with the central government. This is Narcotics Control Bureau. Now, next question is, what is this actually Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act? What things comes under this particular Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act, that is NDPS Act. So, basically this act came in 1985, this is the particular act is there. So, what is the provisions are there, we will discuss it. So, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act 1985, this act actually prohibits a person, this act basically prohibits a person from the production, manufacturing, cultivation, possession, sale, purchasing, transport, storage, consumptions of any narcotic drugs or psychotropic substance. So, this thing already it is mentioned, the same act, this Provisions and Control Regulations Act, here everything is mentioned, provisions of certain operations. So, these things it is mentioned from in the act only, that is written over here only. Now, next question is, what is the difference between narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances? We need to understand the difference. See, difference is this, from a medicinal point of view or medical point of view, the psychotropic drugs, so that they designate chemical substance that act upon the mind, that is on the conscious or unconscious mental life of an individual. Narcotics drugs, basically it is narcotics word coming from narcosis, that is sleepiness, drowsiness. So, those substances are there which actually lead to the drowsiness in the mind or a reduction or elimination of the sensitivity, that is narcotics term means. So, we need to understand the difference. Again, this is not important for UPSC, but definitely we need to understand the meaning of these terms. Next, what are the offences are there and what are the penalties are there under this particular act? See, in this particular act itself they have given these are the offences, these are the penalties. So, offences and penalties, they are not actually same for every offence. There are different types of offences are there. For example, cultivation of opium, cocoa plants without license, then 10 years and fine up to rupees 1 lakh, or for example, production, manufacturing, possession, sale, purchase. Then a small quantity hai, then different hoga. If a small quantity hai, then only 6 months or fine 10,000 rupees. If for example it is commercial quantity, then rigorous imprisonment 10 to 20 years plus 1 to 2 lakh rupees. So, now you need to understand what is this small quantity and what is this commercial quantity is. See, ऐसा नहीं है कि for example if you are having ganja only 10 grams, so definitely you will be caught by the NCB, you will going to punishment. No, the small quantity and commercial quantity is different for different drugs. So, these are the offences are there and these are the penalties are there. There is no need to remember all these things. UPSC will not going to ask from here. So what is this small quantity and commercial quantity? See, for example, if we see here ganja, a small quantity, only 1 kg ganja will be considered a small quantity and 20 kg will be considered as commercial quantity. But same heroin, only 5 gram will come under small quantity and 250 gram will come under commercial quantity. So someone is actually consuming this 250 gram of commercial quantity of this heroin, then the person will going to get punishment of 10 to 20 years of imprisonment. But for example, wahi ganja, even though person is having 20 kg, then only it will come under commercial quantity. So these are the drugs are there, these are the small quantity and these are the commercial quantity. These things already mentioned in the particular NDPS Act only. Again, there is no need to remember all these things. This is just for your understanding so that you can understand. Next thing is, what are the penalties are there? Under this act, penalties are very severe, this act, okay. So we need to understand penalties are very severe. Here offences under this particular act, they attract the jail terms ranging from 1 year to 20 years and the fine depending on the crime only. So under this act, for example, abetment, criminal conspiracy and even attempts to commit an offence attract the same punishment as the offence itself. Preparation to commit an offence attracts half the penalty. But suppose example, if you are doing repeatedly these offences, then it attracts 1.5 times, correct? For example, if you are doing offence only once and there is a punishment is 10 years, then you will get 10 years, okay, imprisonment. But if you are repeating the offence and then same offence, then punishment will not be 10 years now, it will be 15 years, 1.5 times the penalty, and in some case even death penalty is also there. So question can be asked whether death penalty provision is there under this NDPS Act or not. Yes, it is there. Next is some other facts. See, in normal other cases, it was always understood that person is innocent unless proven guilty. Person is always innocent unless proven guilty. This is the provision we follow in several other cases. But under this NDPS Act, we actually take this provision guilty unless proven innocent. These things we need to understand. That actually shows the severity of these particular cases. So here we take accused as guilty unless proven innocent, and the onus is on the accused only to prove innocent. But in other case, accused is considered as innocent always unless proven guilty. That we need to understand. Here offence, they are cognizable and non-bailable. Here offence they are cognizable and non-bailable. First we need to understand what is actually cognizable offences are. See, two types of offences are there, cognizable and non-cognizable. Some are bailable, non-bailable. Some are compoundable and non-compoundable. So these things actually mentioned in our criminal procedure code is there, CRPC. Uska schedule 1 is there. Under schedule 1, this list has been given ki which offence comes under the category of cognizable, non-cognizable, bailable, non-bailable, compoundable and non-compoundable, correct? So cognizable offence means those offences which are very severe in nature, like murder, kidnapping, rape, correct, all these. Non-cognizable offence, they are less serious in nature, for example theft, for example defamation, that's. So under cognizable offence, police can arrest you without warrant. Under cognizable offence, police can arrest the person without warrant, correct, and here FIR can be written easily. But in non-cognizable offence, police cannot arrest without warrant and FIR का concept नहीं होता है non cognizable offence में. Basically क्या होता है, there is one NCR register is there and under this NCR register police used to take the complaint. So that is the difference here is cognizable and non cognizable. One more difference is there. Under cognizable offence, actually police can investigate without permission also. Police need not to wait for the magistrate or the judge, okay, for the inquiry. Police can start the inquiry, start the investigations. Reason is this: if they are delaying, since they are very serious in nature, accused actually can run away, accused can actually destroy the evidence also. That is the difference between cognizable and non-cognizable offence. Second is bailable and non-bailable offence. Bailable offence means those which are less serious, non-bailable offence means which are more serious in nature. So basically under bailable offence will be those which are less serious in nature, bail can be provided easily. Matlab here in the bailable offence, bail is considered as right, matter of right. Understood this? Bail is considered as matter of right under bailable offences. Bailable offence means like theft, defamation, criminal, trespass, property trespass and all these things. Non-bailable offence, bail is not a right. It will depend on the judge or magistrate to give bail or not. Here magistrate or judge is going to check this thing particular, whether reasonable ground is there or not, whether enough reasonable grounds are there or not to prove that this person can be given bail or not. So understood? So see, non-bailable doesn't mean that bail will never going to be provided. This is myth actually. Under non-bailable offence also bail can be provided, but judge is going to decide, correct? And under bailable offence even police can also decide. That is bailable offence. Bail is just a right actually there. One more category is a compoundable offence and non-compoundable offence. See, compoundable offences are those where compromise is possible. That means these cases are very less serious cases, and non-compoundable, well, compromise cannot be, the victim cannot compromise with the accused person. That is non-compoundable. Here the cases will be very serious in nature. Why it is not allowed? Because some serious actually offence has done by the one person. If it is make compoundable, it may be possible in the future he can make more serious offence. That is the reason is they are known as non-compoundable. Non-compoundable means compromise not possible. In this compoundable, compromise possible. That is the difference. So next is bail. So bail basically is a rule and jail is an exception. This is the doctrine actually we follow in our judicial jurisprudence. Bail is a rule, but jail is an exceptions. But this legal doctrine actually it was laid down by the Supreme Court only in 1970s, enforcing the right to life and the liberty guaranteed by Article 21 of the Constitution, correct? But so section 439 of CRPC accordingly grants court power to grant bail to a person accused of committing a crime. So court can give the bail. But however, in drug case actually, in a drug case, rule seems to get reversed in the law. See, however, in this particular drug case, NDPS Act under this particular, the rule seems to get reversed. How they are get reversed? So bail provisions under NDPS. Under NDPS, what is the bail provisions are there? So under this particular act, the prosecutor must be given an opportunity to oppose the application for bail. Under this particular NDPS Act, prosecutor must be given an opportunity to oppose the application for a bail. Who are the prosecutor? Prosecutor means those who, especially those are public law officer or public lawyer who is going against the accused only. The prosecutor must be given an opportunity. Next is, there must exist reasonable ground to believe that. What? There must exist reasonable grounds to believe that the person is not guilty of such an offence and he or she is not likely to commit any offence while on bail. Okay, if that person is likely to commit an offence while on bail, then bail will not be provided. So now you understood why those 20 persons, including one famous celebrity son, he is still not getting bail, because here the rule is different. Here to provide the bail it is difficult because it is a non-bailable offence. Here these things must be there. Ki person accused is not guilty of such an offence, enough reasonable ground should be there to prove that he or she is not likely to commit any offence while on bail, and because of that reason those guys who are arrested in Mumbai, they are not getting bail easily, correct? So that we need to understand. So simply put, it is the onus of the accused, it is the responsibility of the accused only to prove his or her innocence. If the police or NCB, as in the Mumbai case, they tell the court that granting bail could hamper the investigation into the case, that is the reason they were denied the bail. So that is the reason. And one more thing, on 22nd September this year, in Supreme Court actually overturned a bail given by Allahabad High Court, given to an accused under this NDPS Act. See, this is a very famous case, that is why in the media highlight, but that is not, that is the first case only that came into picture. There are various other cases are there, but since here actually any celebrity not involved, because of that reason is definitely media is not going to talk about them. So in that particular case, on 22nd September, Supreme Court has overturned the bail given by the Allahabad High Court, because Supreme Court ko kya laga ki there is reasonable grounds, they were not available, and there is a reasonable ground for believing that the person was not guilty were to be established beyond doubt. That means it was not able to be proved that person is not guilty of that offence. That is the reason is bail was denied or bail was overturned by Supreme Court in that particular case. Now that means in simple word, an accused arrested under this particular NDPS Act is presumed to have intention, motive and knowledge of the drugs related crime, correct, he is charged with. So, accused has to prove only that he or she does not have a culpable mental state before court to secure the bail. That means accused only need to prove that when they will be on the bail, then they are not going to commit any offence further. That is their responsibility. So, this explains actually why this NDPS court in Mumbai has gone with the version of NCB only in keeping all the accused in the drug bust case in the custody, and that is the reason is in this particular case they were not getting bail till now. So, that does not mean the court is going against the accused person in this Mumbai case, because here person involved, the person is celebrity son and all. See, this is nothing. They are actually, court is just playing the rule, playing the fact that is written under this particular NDPS Act. I hope you liked the video, you have liked the session. So, that is the reason. Okay, please don't forget to like, subscribe and share with your friends also. Thank you.